Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be, oh my gosh, I almost said April, a March reading wrap up for you guys. Happy April. Let's talk about the books I read in March. I think I read 7 if you count a DNF, which I usually don't, but I am excited to talk about all of the books I read this month. I have a few that were not on my radar before and I just kind of wanted to pick them up, and a few that have been on my radar. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I want to start out of order for once and just talk about the book that I DNF'd. I started it on March 3rd and stopped reading it on the 13th, and I DNF'd it at 60%, so I did still count it towards my reading goal just because I feel like that's a good chunk of the book to have read and to just be able to say, you know what, not for me. But that was Left Field Love by C.W. Farnsworth. This followed a couple that meets in high school, Len and Caleb, through high school, and they meet their senior year of high school. And Lennon is kind of focused on what she has to do. She has a lot of responsibilities at home, at her farm, all of the things, and Caleb is like this star baseball player who is like destined for greatness and all of that. So Lennon likes him, but it just assumes that it's never gonna work. So it kind of follows them through high school and then into their next journey. After we passed like the high school stuff, I just found Lennon unlikable. Like, Caleb is so sweet and he's doing all these amazing things for her and showing her like how much he cares about her and all of these things, and she just like, she sees it but she like doesn't believe it, and it's not really in an admirable way. It's more in like a, girl, what? This is annoying. So I don't know, that was why I didn't finish it. I also felt like I didn't really know what to expect from the second part, considering more than half the book was them in high school. So I was just like not really that interested, so I just put it down instead of forcing myself to finish it. So that was just the second book that I read, so we're not too out of order. So let's go back to the beginning. I started this on March 1st, and that is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. This is the second book in the Twilight series, not my favorite right now, which is upsetting, but that's okay. I'm very excited to continue the series. I think that I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying the world and like everything that's going on, and I'm invested in their story. Yeah, I do like Edward in this book, and I think people don't like Edward, whether in the movie or in the book. Like, I know everyone's team Edward, but like, I don't know if people like him, you know what I mean? But Jacob just gives like sweet little brother vibes, and that's all I can see for him. So I'm picturing, what's his face? Taylor, I almost said Taylor Swift. Taylor Lautner. I'm picturing him, but when he was in like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It's giving cute little bro. So yeah, I gave this a 3.5, I believe. Okay guys, we have the highly anticipated Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. If you don't know, this is the third book in the Fourth Wing series, the Empyrean series, but most of you know it by Fourth Wing. Third book, so there's not much I can say. We're very deep into the plot, the situation right now. All I can really tell you is that I love Violet, the main character, so much, and everything that she does and stands for. I think she's a very admirable character. Admirable? And Xaden, of course, we love Xaden. But more than that, I really enjoyed the journey they went on in this book. Although I was confused sometimes, I really like the structure of the story and kind of like the journey that we're going on with Violet. Of course, I love the dragons and being able to hear their thoughts, at least Taryn and Darna. I love that little addition to the plot. So yeah, I gave this 4.5, 4.25. I couldn't give it 5. And I couldn't give it anything less than a 4 because of certain scenes that literally took hold of my physical heart, you know what I mean? So yeah, we comfortably put her at 4.25. I haven't had a 5-star read yet this year, guys. I'm kind of sad about it. I feel like I'm being picky. I'm being very picky, but okay, the next book up is Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt? I don't know. This follows Farley and Meyer, and Farley is a starting out stand-up comedian. So she's just starting to get her name out there. People are starting to recognize that she's funny and attend her sets. And Meyer is her manager slash ex-comedian. He used to also do stand-up and was very popular. Now he just manages Farley and is a single father. So being a single father is kind of why he no longer does stand-up, as well as other things. But he has his daughter Hazel, who I believe is like 9 or 10. It follows Farley and Meyer as they try to navigate their working relationship, even though Farley has basically loved him since they met. It does say it in the synopsis. Okay, so they fake date to help Farley with her career, and that just, you know, escalates the situation. So that's always fun. I gave this a 3.75. I just started getting kind of bored in some chapters. I felt like some things were over-explained or overdone. I don't know. But I still really enjoyed it. Okay, the next book is the last Kindle book that I read. That is Wretched by Emily McIntyre. This is book number 3 in her Never After series, but I've only read this one and Hooked. And I read Hooked, I don't think last year, but the year before that. I don't even know. So definitely not reading them in order, definitely not following any kind of series order. If you don't know, Emily's Never After series is following different fairy tales, I guess. Like, I guess they are fairy tales. So like Hooked was Peter Pan, and this one is Wizard of Oz reimagined. So each one is just a different reimagined fairy tale. And this one follows Evelina. I hope I'm saying that right because it tells you how to say it in the first chapter, and I was pronouncing it right the whole book, and now that I haven't looked at it in a while, I don't know. Evelina, I think that's it. And Nicholas, and Nick is an undercover cop who is assigned to pretend to dabble in Evelina's family business, which is drug dealing. Evelina is kind of like the head girl in charge. She is really good. She knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing. She is a bad bitch, and Nick doesn't really realize that she's the one that he's looking for. It makes for a great suspenseful story. So I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. It was funny. It was a little crazy. It was definitely a lot of crazy, and that's why I love fiction and fantasy, because it's not real, so I can just enjoy it, you know? Okay, we are unfortunately on the last book that I started this month, about halfway through, a little more than halfway. 198 pages, so I'm more than halfway. That is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Motar and Max Gladstone. I always forget that there are 2 authors to this, but let me tell you what it's about. So this is kind of a fantasy vibe, but it's not as like in-your-face fantasy as you might think. It's like a sci-fi fantasy romance situation that is so good I don't even know how to really explain it. But basically, Blue and Red are sending each other letters through time. Nobody can know that they're corresponding because they're on different sides of the war, and they're talking to each other despite being on opposite sides of the war. They are slowly but surely falling in love. It's just amazing. I'm nervous but excited to continue and see how everything ends. It feels like reading poetry, but poetry that like is full sentences, and but poetry by chapters, not poetry just like, you know. I don't think that made any sense because I know poetry can be very long. No, I'm loving this. If there is any hope for a 5-star, this would be it, or Sunrise on the Reaping, but I still don't have it. It's nowhere. I can't find it anywhere. I'm gonna have to order it online, and I hate doing that. But yeah, anyway, finishing the month with this was nice. All right guys, those are all the books I read in March. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Do all of that fun YouTube stuff. Have anything else to say? I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's it. Love you. Bye.